Hello everybody, Ryan Thomas here, just doing the add-on as I mentioned before in a previous podcast. Here with me is Jason Wigle, also known as Space Ape in the forums, and he is going to give us some heads up and reps on the Superhero City game. He's going to talk to us a little bit about things that he enjoyed in the past, some of his favorite memories, and also some things that are going to be coming up. We got some exciting things coming. So, without further ado, Jason Wigle, lead designer of Superhero City.
Greetings, citizens of Superhero City.
He's an eloquent simian, as you can all tell.
Eloquent, that's a fancy word for talks good. Love to sit here. I'm really excited about this podcast, actually, with something we've been talking about for a while. So first things first, let's talk about
the past.
Let's talk about the past.
How did you roll into this whole design job?
Well, some of it's not appropriate to say for children under 13, but most of it comes from having us just doing a wonderful job with the community and working with the community and being that voice of reason in many, many design meetings as community manager when I sat in on them. So after hearing me gripe on behalf of the community so many times, I guess it just only naturally fit that I could slide into the design position and begin to represent the community in the design.
Well, being a dungeon master of many, many games and help design and augment many other tabletop and other types and formats of games probably didn't hurt you either.
No, that didn't hurt at all. At all. Being able to walk into an interview with a giant binder filled with dungeon notes and campaigns and all sorts of things made over years was definitely very helpful. Very helpful. And honestly, the only interview where I brought my dungeon master notes in and it got me a job. So that was kind of fun.
In the last, I guess we'll look back 6 months since this is our inaugural podcast. In the past 6 months, what do you think has been your most exciting, compelling feature that you've brought to SHC or realized in SHC?
Well, with SHC, there's been a lot of tweaks and fixes going on in the background. I mean, of course, there's Sin City, which was one of the first cities, well, the first city we've released in, at that point, over a year. Now we're coming up on another year without a city, but there's been other content in that time. And of course, Sin City had a lot of other fun new features in it, like loot tables and drops, and not just on mission specific, but across the board. We grew our ability to just attach nice, random, fun, fatty loots to the things that the players do. So that I consider to be a wonderful success. Events page I consider to be another one. That was a long time coming, and several big meetings to convince people why it was a useful feature. And now I think the proof is in the pudding. The community has a place to go and see what they're doing and what they fought in, and on top of it, the best part, they don't have to collect their loot in a set time period. That's
huge. The other games are clamoring for this, so they're really jealous that you got that one too. Mm-hmm. It's been a huge positive. Even on the support side, we've seen a lot of player inquiries roll down as soon as you got that events page implemented.
Well, and the funny thing is that that was really a sort of a bit of a philosophy shift that had to happen. Because this is a really new gaming space, being in this sort of freemium Facebook thing, and everybody's learning as we go. And one of the interesting holdover philosophies was that I had to defeat was, well, people should come. We want them to come back in 4 hours of the event and collect their prizes. It's a tool to retain them. But in the end, I was able to convince people that actually this is a tool to just make people angry, because if they have to actually work or go out to a movie or do something that involves their life and they miss all their fatty loots.
And it's easy to blank out 24 hours, if you're a busy person.
Exactly. It's easy for 24 hours to dribble right by. So this way, players have the safety to come in, battle, spend a lot of time, energy, maybe even some cash on a fight, and then have their rewards waiting for them. So kind of a no-brainer, but it took a little bit.
I would definitely rank events page as one of the premier features that have gone up for SHC, and I agree. Every time I talk to the players, they do definitely bring that one up as one of their marquee favorites. I got to ask this: if anything, in the month of June, are you looking forward to that we can talk about in some vague terms?
No, I think we could talk about season play, and we can talk about it in not so vague terms. It's getting ready to enter its ghost season right now. It should happen this week.
Maybe you should tell them what season play is, because not everybody may know that.
Yeah, true. So what we've done, an events page really informed this and opened the way to this, is that we've created a system that will run in the background of events and will track players' performance in those events based on whatever variety of different parameters and dials that we can play with. We can award points to those categories, and we have this big giant leaderboard that is so beautifully designed on the UI scale. It's wonderful, and it's not mine. It's one of our UI guy.
Thank you, Nathan Fong.
Thank you, Nathan Fong. He has moved on to another project in the building that I cannot talk about, but for that brief period when we had him,
it was wonderful.
It was gold. So he put together a UI for the page that is just gorgeous. It has collapsible rows. It shows you all the events that you've been in. It even shows you where your standings are and like how you ranked. Because what we can do now is we're tracking different categories. So roughly 45% of your season points are going to come from how you placed in an event. But the rest of the points are going to be up for grabs based on participation. And we have a good, I believe, 8 categories of participation that we're tracking. And these categories include dodges, most dodged. So in each tier, and they're tier specific. So what happens is your placement in your level bracket, let's get rid of the word tier, level bracket. Your placement in your level bracket will map to points. And then those points will map to an overall leaderboard for the entire community. So you might be level 100, one of your arch nemesis might be level 1200, but if you rank higher in your level bracket than he does in dodge, then you're going to outrank him on the leaderboard for the season. And all these points accumulate and add up. We've got categories for damage dealt, just single hit. How much damage have you dealt in a single hit, and how does that track over the event? We have cumulative damage. We have damage taken on offense, on defense.
Is time in the event also tracked in?
Time in the event is not tracked, but we've hooked in a little thing in there to reward early participation. And I said, roughly 45% of your points come from placement. That's not entirely true. 40% come from placement. 5% of your points will come from the highest rank you achieved. So basically what that means is that if you jump into an event early, you can get those points a lot easier and quicker than someone who is going to wait until the end and actually has to fight their way to the top. Mm-hmm. So we're hoping by doing little things like this, we can encourage participation. Our goal is to reward participation, not punish the players for, not playing how we think they should play. Mm-hmm. Also in there is XP gained. Most XP gained in a fight throughout the course of a event that will also be tracked. And so throughout all these categories, you get your overall placement of where you rank in the season, and at the end of a season, we give rewards based on your overall ranking, and we'll probably give rewards for some of these individual categories, the ones that we really think are going to be choice categories.
And this is not a static one. It seems like season play is going to one of those features that's going to grow as we learn more. It's going to inform us really how our customers, our players, play over a period of time and allow us to really add on or dial in and tweak. So even the first couple seasons, expect that this is going to have to change.
Oh yeah, it's just going to have to. I mean, just starting with Ghost season, already from Ghost season on up, we're going to be dialing and tweaking our points, and probably, as many people on this project have said several times over, that it will probably take us several seasons before we have everything dialed and we have a really well balanced point system. But we're doing our best to hit the mark right out the gate.
And I think the Go season is going to inform us a lot.
Yep, and then season 0. So in June, to get back to the June question, once Go season is done, we will be launching what we're calling Season 0. Season 0 is just our preseason. It will be
Pure test.
Pure test. Our goals are to launch season 1 July 21st. That is the goal, because that will be a 10-week season with a 2-week break. The next 10-week season will end just before Christmas. On December 22nd will be the last day of that season, which means that you guys can all take a nice break over the holidays and not have to worry about losing your season points and all that. and if we
look at us taking care of
we
you
care,
guys.
we care. We try to think about this stuff. It's a big world out there,
It's hard to keep everybody in,
and it's hard to it's definitely a trick to keep everybody happy. But we definitely want to do that. We do our best. And then if that all hits, if all our dates hit properly, that'll be our dates forever. There will always be a new season starting in the second week of January, and they'll go 10 weeks on, 2 weeks off for the whole year.
And I want to predicate all this. These are all our intentions. These are TBD. This is all forecasting what our intentions are. Of course, anything could happen between now and then, but we definitely want to inform you guys, let you guys get a little sneak peek of what we're working on, what we got cooking down in the, Space Apes lab.
Cooking down in the labs, yeah. Oh, and there's some other fun ones coming up, too, that we should see in June. A nice little birthday present coming.
Oh, I also
Can we talk about the birthday presents, do you think?
Before we talk about the birthday presents,
surprise?
I know that you announced another chapter.
Yep, we just put out another chapter of The Foundry today.
Very popular weekly missions. I think, again, everybody across the board has said that they enjoy, the storyline of it, and they love the idea that players everyone has said it's really neat, because everyone has a really good chance, well, not a really good chance, but everyone has a chance at a really good drop. And it's really come down to people really, I think as that develops, I think it's going to get even better and better for our players.
Yeah, and there's definitely a few pieces in there that are almost overconned, but it is what it is. They're good pieces. The free players deserve some good pieces, and in all fairness,
but everyone has access.
Yeah, everybody has access to it, so you can go in there and try to get them with the best of them. And
okay. Well, is there anything else you want to forecast before we sign off, or shots out, or anything?
Now, do we want to talk about some of our June birthday presents, or how about this? Our birthday is coming. And I bet some player birthdays are going to be coming right along with it. And if you know what I mean by that, you're going to be very excited. And if you don't know what I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't apply to you. So
longevity loyalty definitely has its perks.
Loyalty has its perks. We haven't forgotten it.
And it's amazing that we have players. It just blows my mind how continually passionate and involved our players are in these games, and after 3 years we still have a strong growing community that is just second to none, I think, on a lot of scales of just interactivity between players and the devs, where you actually have developers, the core designers of the game, actively in a regular basis, and it's obviously never enough no matter what, but definitely you guys, I don't think the players realize exactly how much on a daily basis that they inform our decisions and our guidances, and we mentioned this in the other interview, how when we get feature requests or we get feature threads in the forums, how often we are already either in development or a couple months out from doing exactly what they're asking us to do. So I love the fact that we never get it out as soon as they would like, but we always are on the path of getting it to those players.
Yeah, very much so. It happens all the time. Or it's those ones where we've talked about. The other fun one is, of course, when we've talked about it and have prioritized it, and then the players are asking for it. It's not where we have it prioritized differently. That's always the shake up where we have to sit around and talk about it again.
Yes, because it always gets reviewed. Well, with that, I'd like to say thank you again for everybody to listening to the tail end podcast of the original podcast, and look for this in a month. Any sign-offs for you, Space?
Keep fighting the good fight, heroes, villains, mercenaries. We have some other fun stuff coming, and we'll save that for next month's podcast.
I would say keep Superhero City safe, but it's way better to keep Superhero City interesting.
Yes,
Thank
interesting.
you all. Bye-bye.